Chris, can you hear me?
Howdy, folks, and welcome to episode 139. Wait up, guys. I don't know what happened to my StreamYard. I don't have my all my stuff for some reason. I don't, my logo and all that stuff is missing, so I don't know what's going on. So that's why there was no introduction music. There's not going to be any outro music. I don't know what the hell's going on, but here we are. I do have McMurray with me. I haven't heard him say anything yet.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
So
Chris, can you hear me?
8-ball kind of move like he is talking, but
God fucking damn it.
Anyway, and he dropped off. He'll be back. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on with my account. We'll just move on with it. Nguyen came in early saying, "Hey everyone." Charles says hello. Nguyen Chris and not J Chris. Howdy, Charles. Nguyen gave Charles a thumbs up. Let's see if McMurray.
Can you hear me this time? This time, maybe.
I'm not hearing anything you're saying.
Chris, can you hear me? For fuck's sakes, what the fuck?
No idea what's going on. Tolemykus says, folks, Hexy's in the house, says, let's go, damn it. You were about 2 minutes early there, sir.
Chris, can you hear me?
And Nguyen does.
Christopher.
The stream should tell you
stop
to be
talking
patient.
if you can hear me.
What
the fuck?
Charles says, Richard, Tolemykus, Field Marshal, Sir Hex. Just everybody giving a hello to everybody. So, yes, live without a net. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Chris, can you hear me?
McMurray is not connecting with voice. I don't know what's going on here. It's weird. I got Mutt in the house.
Hello, Chris.
We got,
anybody? Can somebody in the chat say if they can hear me or something? We got the usual gang
here. So what we're talking about tonight is something that Tolemykus brought up again. Again, thank you for the ideas, sir. Is fear of missing out. What?
Can one of you guys in the chat tell Chris to plug in his goddamn headphones so he can hear me? Or to unmute himself so he can fucking hear me?
It's a me thing. One moment.
You got to be shitting me. We're off to a rip-roaring head start here, folks.
There we go.
And people say I'm the technological mongoloid.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Well, first off, I am a little under the weather. I have a cold.
There. Yeah.
So, and I was completely thrown off when, like, my backdrop and my intro and all of that stuff, none of that is here. I don't know what the hell's going on.
You're good, man.
So, but we're gonna go. We're gonna move forward. But when we get into our topic, it's we're going to talk about the fear of missing out. In referring to that is, am I missing out on something in gaming that I should be having? Before we do that, though, I'm going to talk a little bit about my weekend. And McMurray, you can talk about your weekend as well. We both had game days, as it were. I was up here at the local winery for J3N, which is Jay's July Jamboree in November. And we had, well, there was Jay, there was me, there was my nephew, and then we had Eric from Springfield, Illinois, and David from St. Louis. That was about it. Copeland didn't come over. He had a family event with his son. Joel didn't make it out because he was getting ready to leave for, I believe, Japan this coming week or weekend. So he needed to spend some time at home for that. And then various other folks weren't able to make it. McMurray wasn't able to make it because, well, he was doing his own gaming thing there in St. Louis, and that's okay. Um, so we played Friday night. Got together and started off with playing um, playing 2 games of Gru the Wanderer card game. Pretty fun little game. If you don't know what Gru the Wanderer is, it's an old comic book drawn by Sergio Aragonés, who did margin art um, for Mad Magazine back in the day, and so it was a pretty fun little game. Got 2 games of that in, and then we played a game of Guillotine. Guillotine's a fun little card game where you are wanting to get as many points as possible by the end of the game, obviously. But how you get said points is by chopping off the heads of um, French, not just royalty, but nobles during the French Revolution. And each of the different characters that come up are worth different points. So, for instance, the king is worth 5 points, Marie Antoinette's worth 5 points, etc. So, Robespierre is like worth 4 points. It's a fun little game. 3 rounds. Each round's got 12 nobles lined up. And you got different action cards that allow you to move characters up or down on uh, the row, etc. So we played a game of that and finished up for the night. And then Saturday morning we play tested my What a Seaman Cold War sub game. It's pretty fun. Worked out pretty well. There are some things I need to work on. Rules wise, but yeah, it was good times. Then we played some Pulp Alley. David brought up a game of Pulp Alley where the good guys had to get somebody to. It was kind of like a Mad Max type of situation where we're all in cars shooting at each other and jumping across, from car to car, etc. So it was a lot of fun. And then we played BattleTech uh, Alpha Strike, which was really a lot of fun. I'd never played Alpha Strike before, but it was quite good. I've got photos up on the Discord channel showing some of the games. And then, so that finished us out on Saturday. And then Sunday, we sat down and did a role playing game. Eric brought for us to play. Easy D6 was the rules that we used. And it was a good time as well. So that's what happened on this weekend for me. Mr. McMurray, how did your game weekend go?
Excuse me, sorry about that. My weekend went quite well, honestly. I was at Miniature Market in St. Louis at their headquarters for the Big Money Historical Gaming Society's little kind of smaller convention that they hold at the end of every fall called Command Con Light. It was a blast. Had a great time. Wound up putting on a game during the first session called Channel Hopping, and it was a game of channel raiding in 1940. So we had some plucky Germans jumping across on a Kriegsfish cutter to the English side of the channel and raiding into a small ruined town that was never quite rebuilt after being bombarded by the German battlecruiser squad fleet in World War One. Jumped around in there looking for whatever they could find, and so basically the idea was there's some Germans. They get onto the table at a dock. There's some British home guard types that are there to counter them, that are coming on from kind of the other three sides of the board, and then each side is trying to explore the area, find what they can find. So while the objective was to kill each other, there was also a large chunk of basically everything on the table was interactive with a skill test, right? So, or a task roll, sorry, with a task roll. So, you'd get to a set of ruins, and the British would need to know, well, okay, is there anybody hiding in here? Have the Nazis tried to set a booby trap? Who knows? What are we doing? Um, and vice versa for the Germans. So um, the Germans, blew up a a small fuel deposit that was sitting by the dock. Um, the British found some fifth columnists. The Germans found a downed Luftwaffe pilot that was hiding in the rubble, waiting for his opportunity to try and get across the channel. It was a really good game. The players had a really good time. The Germans wound up making it back across or back off the coast with one of the fifth columnists that the British found, as well as the mayor of the town. They blew up a couple cars, or they blew up a car and a truck. Like I said, they took the mayor of the town back to the Channel Islands or wherever else for some intelligence gathering. And the British, like I said, captured some fifth columnists, rescued some civilians, got some, vehicles, civilian vehicles that were vital to the war effort out of there, and then they wound up capturing 5 Germans who didn't get on the boat fast enough. So it was a good game. Everybody enjoyed it. Everybody was having a good time. Everybody was a lot of smiles all around. A lot of questions about the rules, both in terms of we actually played Fistful of Lead almost without, because as you know, Chris, usually when I put on a Fistful of Lead game, I have a trait list for everyone and I have a quick reference sheet for everyone and whatnot. Right. We actually, this time I brought a trait list and a quick reference sheet for each side. And so while we had some questions getting started, it was outstanding to see that after a few turns, most people weren't needing as much as as they weren't needing as much as a quick reference sheet. It was just, okay, here we go. We know what we're looking at. We know what most our modifiers are. If you think there's another modifier in there, sometimes somebody would ask, hey, is this a thing? Is this a thing? Sometimes it's a yes, sometimes it's a no. But it was good to see that, I think I had one person who had played a single game of Fistful of Lead before, and it was another one that I had put on. And it wasn't just Steve Hood that was able to, play without having any trouble. It was everyone just jumping right in and rolling with it. So that was really cool to see. Like I said, they had a great time. Had a lot of questions about, hey, are these the base rules or are these the expanded rules? What book are we using? And it was one of those, no, these are all core for World War II. Galactic Heroes has a lot of things that are pretty cool and useful in some instances. In terms of stuff like grenades and whatnot, are really brought into their own in Galactic Heroes. But core was the only thing we used. People had a great time. They said it felt like a World War II game. You know, we had the kind of home guard that sort of knew what they were doing. You know, your veterans of the First World War and whatnot. And then we also had a player who just had three grunt groups, and then a lieutenant and a corporal trying to wrangle these three grunt groups all over the place. Um, it was good. So instead of, for those of you who are curious about it, you can get kind of a general idea slash preview of what that game was over on Mini Warmuts channel. We did a kind of live test play sort of thing with two out of the three factions, or two out of the three kind of groups from each side. Um, I don't know, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And so then me putting it on at Miniature Market had three groups or three hands worth of figures each side. But yeah. So it was pretty cool. We might see more kind of preview or whatnot of that as we move forward. I believe I'll probably be putting it on at Wiley War Games weekend coming up here in December, because I managed to pull some strings and get some time off for that as well. So
Yay.
look forward to that. There are some pictures in the Discord, I believe. Other than that, as always, guys, if you have questions, you want to see more stuff, you want to hear about it, let me know. It was a good time. I think everybody had a blast, and I look forward to running that, game slash running games with those cards a whole lot more into the future.
Outstanding. Outstanding. So the other big deal for me is I ordered my Neptune 4 Pro.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so that should be showing up this coming Monday. So, excuse me.
bless you.
Hopefully, I'll get that up and running and be able to start getting some stuff printed again. And what I'm working on right now is some 15 millimeter Civil War guys. They're dismounted cavalry, and I just realized, being that they're dismounted cavalry, they probably should retain their sabers. I guess. I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense they would still have their sabers. They'd probably be fighting as infantry,
Yeah.
but given that that was kind
Well,
of most of Civil War cavalry doctrine was
right up, set the
almost,
horses aside, and then go shoot from the ground.
well, yeah, almost Hussar type stuff in a traditional sense, in terms of, yeah, you're more mounted infantry than you are traditional horse cavalry with,
Right.
grand charges and whatnot. Obviously, there were a couple very notable exceptions to that, but for the most part, that's the sort of engagement you tended to see.
So I've got 5 of these dudes that I broke slash sliced the sabers off of. Then I realized, oh shit, maybe they're supposed to have them. Oh well.
It's okay. They could also be, looped on their the whatchamacallit, the
Back on
horns
the
of their
horse.
saddles. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's not the end of the world, man.
Nope. Nope. So, but right now I'm hand brushing on the 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 primer using foundation white from Vallejo.
There you go. You intending to mainly contrast these guys?
Yeah. Um, so I on uh Escus Miniatures My Mini Factory page. He's got a how to paint using contrast paints,
Well, there you go.
step by step, uh, by color, and it uses Skeleton Horde for like the yellow shirts and bedrolls. It uses Telstar Blue for trousers. It uses Dark Oath Flesh for skin tone. Snakeback Leather for, well, looks like the slouch hats and some of the other bedrolls and some of the other pants, just to kind of give it a different look. It Ultramarine Blue for other pants, also darker, some darker pants, and the keppies for the Union, and Wildwood for, well, the rifle stocks, and then Basilicum Gray for some of the slouch hats, and Black Templar, I guess, for boots and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then Shining Silver for the weapons, the metal part of the weapons. I don't think I'm going to go silver though. I don't think silver is the right color, so to speak, for the rifles. Maybe gunmetal.
Well, I mean, it really depends on what are they running around with.
Carbines, I guess. I don't know. Whatever they they would be shooting back then. I don't know. I know
Okay.
next to nothing about the Civil War.
Okay. My point is that some, especially muzzleloading carbines, probably perfectly normally would have been in the white. In terms of they would have been nearly silver. Um, some may not have been. Some may have begun the war in a blued or real deep blued state. But then as the war progressed, then they were cleaned and cleaned and cleaned every day because you don't have protective coatings like you do now.
Right.
They would have far more quickly become a really almost more bare metal. So
Okay.
really, I mean, it depends.
So it's not out of the question to have.
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, then I might just stay with. Actually, the color I have is mailed metal, which is kind of
Yeah, I
the
mean, to be honest with you, lots of guys use like almost blacks, which is fair. I mean,
yeah.
even in the time of the Civil War, a lot of guns would have started their lives in not necessarily a matte black format, but a very dark black, almost state of a blue. But
Right.
then, like I said, that's always the thing, right? Because the more you clean something, like that's the thing with M1 Garands when you're painting, guys for World War II. The the gas tube and everything on your M1 Garand, so the little tube immediately below the barrel, and then the socket that goes over that collars onto the barrel right around the area of your front sight there. That thing was painted black, but not parkerized like the rest of the M1. So those were famous for between the heat that they experienced being the gas block and gas tube, and then the requirement of, hey, you need to clean this rifle every day. They very quickly, reverted back to the fact that you could see they're stainless because they're stainless steel and they just got painted black, which that's not going to
Right.
last long. Um, Especially not when you tell an 18-year-old kid that it has to be, wiped down and cleaned and scrubbed off every day.
Right,
Um,
right.
but the same thing would happen, the in terms of stretching back to the opposite end of the Civil War era, since somebody's inevitably going to be in the comments. The Austrians were famous for having their Grenzers polish their flintlocks to the point where they would scour them with sand to get that extra nice polish on them.
Right.
And over the course of polishing them every day and making them, squeaky clean and super shiny and all that stuff, it wasn't unknown for them to then be for the barrels to have their integrity compromised because they were so polished and you're removing a thou a day, but guess what? After long enough, that'll do it.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. So, yeah, I'm testing these out. Jay printed them up for me because I haven't had time to get mine figured out why it's being a jackass and not wanting to print anything. So, but,
That'll
yeah.
happen.
So I'm going to take a look at people just saying, keep on saying hello. Chris Long is saying he's printing some Plains Indians tomorrow. Very good. Tolemykus says his rifles are hot pink.
That'll happen.
Um,
Telemachus is an
talk about
interesting kind of character.
Chris Long says I use black and a pencil for highlights.
Yep,
Peter Bergs is in the house saying, agree, a touch of pencil graphite helps add shape.
it
There you go.
does. Again, that's a really good way to get that real deep blued sort of thing where it looks
Yeah.
black and then it'll catch you'll catch one of the facets on one of those octagonal barrels or something and it just looks white. It's almost a non-metallic metal sort of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, just where that highlight is built in there.
Oh. But tonight's topic is fear of missing out. And what I mean by that is, do you ever deal, or how do you deal with the idea that there's something going on in gaming? There's a new game out, or there's a new board game out, or rule set, or something that's going on, or maybe it's a convention that you really want to get to, but for whatever reason doesn't seem like you're going to be able to make it. How do you deal with that? How do what do you do to keep from missing out in gaming? Um, now, I I'm not a big board game guy, as y'all know. I do have board games, and there are some that I would like to get a hold of, and the ones that I do want, I kind of either have on have in queue to get, or um, I'm waiting patiently. And I guess for me. That's the on the. I really don't have a fear of missing out on anything because if I don't have it right now, I feel like I can wait. Now the problem with that is, in a lot of cases, is they could run out and then not be able to get a copy. But do you have anything like that where there's something out there that you want that you are not able to get a hold of, either because it's impractical to get due to cost, or you just can't get it?
I mean, yeah, so that happens, and I think a lot of what I try to do to work around, or I guess manage it would be a better word, um, would be to try and manage my expectations, right? Like, I tend to try to not stay hung up. Like when as soon as I realize that something probably isn't going to happen, I try to not stay hung up on it. Right? Like there's no point in me getting sad or worrying about something when. So like I wanted to play when it first came out. I wanted to play All Quiet on the Martian Front way back in the day. Right? Like
Yeah.
2014, 12, whenever it came out. Right? Was big into Flames of War when it first came out. It was like the figures were based on Flames of War bases. The whole thing had a really Flames of War feel to it. It was before Flames of War did their Great War stuff. I think it kind of halfway led into that. I don't know. But I always wanted to play All Quiet on the Martian Front, right? It was real sad at the time. I obviously didn't have the money for it. What have you, what have you, what have you. Um, it got bought out by one of the guys who owns Miniature Market. And at that point, it was, oh, okay, never mind. They always have this stuff in stock. It's always here. Like they were casting the shit out of it. They always had that stuff. So I wasn't worried about it again. And then I kind of had to just make peace with the fact that, man, I might never actually get to play All Quiet on the Martian Front. Like, that kind of sucks, I guess, but there's also worse things. Like, whatever, man. It happens. I'm not I'm not tore up about it. Um, I was like I said, I was kind of sad about it, but that's okay. But I mean,
Well, I mean, the good news is it's coming back.
well, and that's my point is that that's the right now that's the only stuff that I'm like looking at. Kind of sad that I can't get a hold of. Like I tend to try and manage around once I realize that something is gone, right? Like something is gone. It's not
Right.
coming back. Probably never going to come back. Okay, that's whatever. Like in my mind, there's not a whole lot of use stressing out about that, right? Especially in gaming, because in gaming, man, you can find the coolest models you've ever seen. You find them online, you see them, they're cool, they look awesome. You figure out where they're made. You find the manufacturer's website, and then you see it, and you realize, man, the last time this website was updated was 2014. I can order off this website. This website will probably still take my money, but
But will you actually get it?
yeah. So it's not. You know what I mean? At some point, you just got to say, well, okay, it's not worth most of my fear miss. So that's how I deal with fear of missing out with models and rules and stuff like that. Most of the time with rules, yeah, you could probably find a copy of them somewhere. It's not always as easy with models. Um, Other than that, with conventions and stuff like that, I tend to burn sleep and then try and make it there if it's within driving distance,
Right.
which includes some, just games on Thursdays sometimes. Uh,
Yeah.
whatever. If Jay and Steve are
Drive three.
listening, love you guys. Get after it. Sometimes it's worth driving 3.5 hours. Like, whatever. It happens.
Yeah.
I've done far dumber stuff for far less. So
Right.
it's
And now, when you drive that 3.5 hours, you don't have to turn right around and drive that 3.5 hours after gaming for 4.
that's actually true. Jay has very graciously opened up a bedroom in his house for those visiting gamers. Um,
I've stayed in said room. It is nice.
that's true. I mean, I've crashed in the old study or the old library before it
Yeah.
was even converted with this awesome like couch futon bed that also has like USB outlets and stuff in it. I don't know. Robin's
Yep.
like in the 28th century or something. She's playing like
No.
8D
Yeah.
chess, and my goofy ass is in there like, beating rocks together. Um,
Yeah.
but but yeah. So I mean, I don't necessarily. I guess my way of dealing with fear of missing out is by trying to avoid getting the feeling or not hanging on to the feeling in the first place. Right? Like I
Right.
know that there's some people out there who spend their lives looking for that figure or that old rule set. Um, and there's certainly, I mean, any of you guys who were around a year ago or a year and a half ago were listening to me harp on those awesome Victorian sci-fi figures that I had. There's two of them. They're great. They're really cool. I don't know where they're from, man. I feel like if they were still commercially available, through me asking at every convention that I'm at and on here for probably 5, 6, 7 months, somebody would have said, "Hey, man, they're over here." That or through my own searching, I probably would have found them. I haven't, man. It happens, whatever. After a certain period, it's kind of one of those. Well, all right. C'est la vie, such as life. Whatever your saying is,
Right.
it's usually not worth getting all tore up about. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, for me, so for the longest time, um, I wasn't either. I don't want it to sound like I was, but I was. I wasn't allowed to get a lot of different gaming stuff. If it did not come directly from, you know, if I had to spend money on it, it probably wasn't going to happen. Um, but now, in the situation I'm in, it's, you know, if we've got the extra, go ahead, get it. Why not? So, it's, I'm in a completely different position. Back then, it was, yeah, I wish I could get that. That'd be really cool. I'm not ever gonna be able to get a hold of something like that. And now it's okay. That's out there. I just need to see if we can't set aside the money to make it happen. And if we can, great. If not, oh well. A perfect example is the big Fulda Gap map for World War 85, Storming the Gap. It hit the market, or it hit the website. They wanted $75 for it. I was really, really wanting it. Um, and Donna said, "Well, we've got the extra. Go ahead and order it." So I got lucky. Would I have been upset if we didn't have the extra money at the time? I wouldn't have been upset, but I would have longed for it because I really like that. I really like that game, and I really liked that map. And so, yeah, I would have. It would have been nice to have, and it would have. I wouldn't be losing my mind over it, but um, I would have. Uh, I would have felt like I was missing something. So, and then again, when they came out with the Kickstarter for Blood and Fury, I was able to get it. In fact, I was able, I gave Donna plenty of notice ahead of time that, hey, this is happening. I'm really wanting it, and I was able to get it on, like, I was like the 63rd or 64th person to order, to place the order for it. So again, it's just a matter of positioning myself to be able to not miss out, as it were. So, not worrying about it that way. Um, I think where I'm more of, in fear of missing out now is thinking about how much I haven't done in the past, like with American Civil War. I've, you know, there's so much that has transpired with gaming in the American Civil War, both, war game, miniatures games and board games that, I'm like, wow, what I've spent all this time not looking at this as a potential, gaming field for me that I think what, what have I missed? What is you know, what's no longer out there that would have been really cool. I'm not been out of shape about it, but it's like, man, there's so much that I could have been doing before now. So I've got a lot of catching up to do, kind of an idea, than you know the actual. I'm never going to be able to do it. I'm never going to see that uh, happen. So let's see what we got. Richard says Hexy wants to know from Charles and his cat if they got anything from the GMT sale. Perfect example. There were hues and cries across Facebook of people not able to get onto the website and enter the code and get the discounts for the games they want. And when they finally got on, that the games were gone, and oh, the horror! And yeah, there was a lot of FOMO on that piece. Um, Richard says sometimes you just have to say what the fuck. I'll never have enough money to get everything I want, so I pick the things that I think I will make me the happiest. There you go.
That's right,
Big
Rich.
Bird says FOMO for ASL stuff and MMP OCR series games. Don't get FOMO for other games. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's just a shit ton of advanced squad leader stuff out there.
A shit ton of what?
Advanced squad leader,
Correct.
and if I'm not mistaken, there's a lot of stuff that isn't available anymore.
Correct.
So if like me, I have zero ASL stuff, and if I started getting into it and I found out that 10 years ago there was a historical ASL module of Operation Dragoon and that's not available anymore, I could see myself longing for that and doing crazy things to potentially get a hold of a copy, even to the point of you know spending an ungodly amount of money if someone had it for sale, type of thing. Um, but you do have to be careful on situations like that. Also, you know, uh, Jeff Hexy has got has a copy of Case Blue, if I'm not mistaken, which is like one of the big Grail games that everybody wants to get their hands on. And I'm sure if he wanted to, if he wanted to part with it, he could get a sizable chunk of money for that because there are people out there that are willing to just throw gobs of cash at somebody to get something that they either didn't know about or when it was available they didn't have the means to get it, and now for whatever reason they've got the means and are willing to just throw a huge amount of money at the situation.
I mean, it's the same thing with like Gygax rule sets now, right? Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's chainmail or what's his Age of Sail. Don't give up the ship. or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't remember. I have whatever his Age of Sail rulebook is, and when John over at Join Wargaming was talking about how ridiculous chainmail had gotten at one point in time, I looked at which I don't I can remember which of the old light blue colored Age of Sail rule sets was Gygax and Arneson, but either way. And it was just one of those, Jesus Christ, guys. It's not even that good of a game, but people want it because it's got Gygax on it. So at some
Right.
point, I should probably sell it because, like I said, I don't really like it that much, but we'll see how that
Yeah.
works out.
Yeah, you
Does,
could.
yeah, I don't know. About to say, I know I've helped Jeffy with a couple of his FOMO, I guess, or Grail game type scenarios between finding a couple copies of War Between the States, and then a couple and TC or TSS and stuff like that. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
just some
Um,
extra stuff.
Charles responding to Jeff. No, what I want to have on P500, and I need to figure out what I want from Compass, and I don't want to pre-order too soon. He says right now he's painting a half dozen Fey werewolves using speed paints. Oh, very cool. I grabbed North Africa 41, Stalingrad expansion, and 40 trays. Stevie is in the house. Hi,
Yeah,
Steve.
Steve,
Hope you're
we're not
still here.
missing out on Wily War Game Weekend, buddy. We're both
No,
going to
we
be
are
there.
not. We
Are
will be
you going to
there.
be there for the entire time, Steve? Or are you going to do one of your classic Steve shows up, then Steve leaves?
Yeah. Steve shows up and then family calls and he pusses out.
No. God, Jesus Christ. That's not what I said.
I shouldn't say it that way. I should not say it that way.
But either way, Steve, it'll be great to see you out there, buddy.
Absolutely. Fear about missing out on Wily Wargame Weekend. Hey, I've got no fear of ever missing out on a Wily gaming day or gaming weekend. All I got to do is tell Donna, hey, there's gaming in Kansas City this weekend. Let's go visit the kids.
Yeah, that's true. You're quite
Boom, we're
lucky in
there.
that aspect.
A lot of third-party ASL stuff comes out, then it's gone for good unless you find and pay for it on the secondhand market. Yeah, Peter, that's kind of what I was talking about with that. Is people are willing to throw gobs of money. It's crazy what people will throw down. Uh, Jeffy says I collect ASL stuff and don't play nothing but SK.
Correct.
Peter says I doubt Case Blue will ever be reprinted. Glad I have mine. Hexy agrees. Walkabout says I don't think I can think of a game miniature or rule set I've missed that I regretted missing. Peter says kicking myself for missing out on a Hatton in Flames ASL. And then Hexy says, Peter, did you grab anything on the MMP sale? It's still on. No sales for me right now. Might check out MMP, but saving my money for a copy of AETOO to go with my APTOO. I have no idea what those are. So I think AETOO would be Africa, Europe Theater of Operations. To go with APTO, which would be Asia Pacific Theater of Operations. But I have no idea what game they're talking about there. Do you?
No, I don't know. I'm sure
Steve says he will be there.
Outstanding. It makes sense to Steve Wood. He's been putting up all kinds of incredibly incredible cards, which include pictures of his incredibly painted Last Action Hero.
Oh yeah,
figures that he's been
I'm
doing.
not sure which one is my favorite so far.
Well, did you see the picture of the giant stack of cards he just posted? Like, I thought we were going to be looking at like 10 or so, but he's got probably 30 or 40 of them.
Yeah, there is a veritable shit ton of Last Action Heroes going to be there. Well, I mean, it's going to be I think he's going to have it set up for at least 8 players. and each player is going to have like 4 heroes.
I guess I didn't catch the full details on all that, but yeah.
Yeah. Advanced European theater of operations, strategic games with just about every ship and unit.
Yeah,
Huh.
there you go. That sounds terrifying, but I am very excited for you.
Yeah. The Home. Yeah. Yes. Yes. The Home Alone card is epic.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Steve says 8 players, 4 figures each.
I'm still excited for his Days of Thunder NASCAR characters that he's going to be putting out here. I can't
Yeah.
wait for Steve to have a Dick Trickle card and stuff like that.
Maybe he says maybe 5 each. Very cool. Latour says also gluing up some orcs, heads and arms. Steve says
No
no, no.
NASCAR. God, go figure. Steve's always trying to just harsh the mellow over here, you know.
Right, right. I mean, you got to have Dick Trickle out there, and if you're going, movie NASCAR, you can always go with Bobby. Shit, from Talladega Nights.
Oh, Ricky Bobby?
Well, Ricky Bobby. There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't realize Steve was breaking into like full blown, like, 2000s action heroes also. Um, and it's just,
Yeah.
I'm really excited because there's just a whole world of things that could. Toros Furiosa, dang it. See, he said we're back to the wasteland, but then today was Kevin McAllister. So I figured it might be the Boomerang kid. Furiosa is an awesome selection, though. I'm really excited. Where did you find that miniature, Steve? I know that there's no one place to find all these miniatures, but I don't know that I've ever seen a Furiosa miniature. That's or an STL. That's pretty awesome. Um, one of these things you should make that. You should see if Jay wants to sell that. A list of where you found all of your STLs. Uh,
Right. Excuse
the
me.
the Wiley Games Guide to cool STLs, and then sell that for a nickel or something, or who knows. But I would certainly be delighted to see that list because there's some really awesome. If you guys haven't seen them, hop over to the Wiley Games Facebook or the Discord or something, and check out all the incredible. Even if you have no idea how to play Fistful of Lead, what Fistful of Lead is about, first off, I'd tell you need to check it out. But if nothing else, you need to check out the amazing job that Steve has done on all these miniatures and these cards. You can certainly tell that
Absolutely.
graphic design is not just a passing hobby for these guys. It's something they do incredibly well, and they
Yeah.
really take the.
It's like they do it for a living.
It is, but then also, I mean, how many people do you know that
I'm not sure
do
I understand.
Oh, shut up.
that do something for a living, but then don't necessarily get into it that hard on their time off or whatever else? It's just they do a very good job. Check it out. Yes, they do. They are, graphic designers by trade, but that stretches into their work time or into their leisure time, and we all get to reap the benefits of it as
Yeah.
as players quite happily. So
I'll just say this. Well, first off, did you see what Hexy's been doing? He's been painting again. He
he
says he's
has
painted 5 to 8 minis every night for a week now. Good on you.
absolutely. He's been doing great. He posted a really great video detailing what he uses for speed and contrast paints to do 15 millimeter uh, Soviets for Flames of War.
Nice.
Very good. It's a long form video, but it's nice because you can literally it's not a cooking show thing, it's not. So now we're gonna do this, and then it's just done. I mean,
Right.
he quite literally walks you through it. You get to watch Jeff do it, and then if you're painting along at home, you're not pausing, reaching up, pausing, unpausing, pausing, reaching up, unpausing. Steve, I love the Home Alone idea, man. I'm happy. I thought I was suggesting goofy stuff, and then you actually dropped Walker, Texas Ranger, and I was thrilled, man. I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm
that's good.
beyond tickled pink and excited to play. Hi, Cindy.
Cindy says hello and then also says good night and greetings, hand pink waving.
Yeah.
Glad you're here. Um, what I will say is that if you ever get a chance to play a game that is hosted by either Jay Wiley or Steve or both at the same time, do it. You will not be disappointed. Because all the miniatures are always going to look great. The scenery will always look amazing. And the game will be quite fun. Um, and the best way to experience that is to make it down to Kansas City, at least during one of the 4 gaming weekends that they put on. So yeah, just a grand old time. Yeah, that's what everybody should have a fear of missing out on is a Jay Wiley, Steve Willard game night or day or weekend. So, but yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So, now, okay, I've got a question for all of those out there that know a thing or two about the Civil War. Did, and this might be a really stupid question, and if it is, berate me later. Did the Confederacy have mounted infantry or cavalry like the Union did?
Yes.
There. Okay, and they would have been in they probably would have been uniformed more so than
Um.
like the regular infantry, like in the gray
Yes.
classic gray uniform. Okay.
Gray, butternut, brown, light blue pants that they took off Union guys. Yes.
Okay. So still a mishmash of whatever they could get a hold of, you unlike the classic Union cavalry of the 1880s, where they were all in dark blue with the yellow stripes down their legs.
Yes.
Okay.
Steve, I greatly
Charles
look
says,
forward to that.
also painted the first of 19 hobgoblins, figuring how I want to paint this set. Very cool.
Oh
And
yeah,
then Super
Charles.
said, if there is another March to Victory, there will be a Last Action Heroes Super Show Special Edition Director's Cut game. Outstanding. So for people, there have been questions asked as to if there is to be another March to Victory. The answer to that question is twofold. One is yes, only if other people step up to the plate and help out. And by helping out, that means going out and finding a place to have it. The second thing is once we find the place to have it, gaining the money to actually rent the place, and because really that's there is some other minor expenses, but that is the primary expense for the March to Victory convention is paying for the place. So, um, yeah. So if you happen to be in Kansas City and you want to continue to have a really cool gaming convention that is open to everybody, um, start finding a place that will allow us to be there from about noon on Friday until about midnight on Saturday. and it not cost a fucking arm and a leg. That's the real problem, is finding a place that doesn't cost a shit ton of money. So there you go. I know if I lived a little closer to Kansas City, I'd be beating people's doorsteps, pounding on doors, uh, seeing what I could find. But it's not real easy to do over the phone, because you actually want to see the location before you're willing to say, yeah, let's make that happen. Peter says a lot of Union cavalry struggled to get decent horses during the war. All right, I can see that being a problem. Absolutely, I can see that being a problem. So, yeah, I'm figuring out how exactly I want to paint these guys up now, because the pictures I'm seeing are of line infantry.
Are you? What are you? Where are you looking?
On the Escus miniatures.
Why
Just
don't you Google Union Civil War cavalry?
because that would be easy.
Um, what's everybody up to? What's everybody working on? What are we looking at on hobby tables, folks? You got anything cool we're looking at? You doing anything unique, interesting, entertaining? Anything particularly wild? Are we doing anything special as we get into the fall hobby season? What's going on, folks? Do you have special projects on? Are we working on Thanksgiving projects? Anybody picking turkeys and shit, or what?
um, I was going to say something and I forgot. Shit. Oh, I know. Starting Monday, um, once I get my printer up and running, I'm going to see how fast I can start printing out these TNT4 modules.
Oh, your Neptune?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Like I said,
Cool.
that should be showing up on Monday. So,
Gorgeous.
Walkabout Games says he's editing photos.
Oh, nice. The ones
Yeah.
you posted on the Discord, Chris? For oh shit, what's the name? Um,
Advanced to Contact, I think it is.
Advanced to Contact. There you go. Or Move to Contact.
Yeah, Move to Contact.
Move to Contact.
I'm digging the concept. He had talked about it on an after hours stream with me and Hissy Cat.
Yeah,
And I really like it.
he's been posting about it and talking about it. And I'm really excited. To. I pulled out my my 2004 era, you know, Marines and Insurgents, and I'm really excited to. I do have those. I guess I could start slapping some paint on those. I need to try and see if I ever wrote down what my. I had a pretty decent fix on a coffee stain camo scheme. Excuse me. That I was rather happy with. Chris, are you looking at the? I know you enjoy the Kickstarters and 3D printing. Are you looking at the All Quiet on the Western or All Quiet on the Martian Front Kickstarter? It did actually. It did. Let's talk about that for a minute. I don't know. I'm really excited about that. It hit its um, funding goal today.
Oh, it did.
It did.
I'm actually surprised.
It hit its funding goal. I'm not. I mean, the for what it was looking for, it was an ambitious Kickstarter in terms of, I think they were going for like 50 grand or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not out of reach. I'm not sure that it's going to, be one of those Kickstarters that blows the top off of its goals, and winds up with like triple the amount that they were requesting. But at the same time, that's not the sort of Kickstarter. It's not looking at. It didn't start out like it's not a BattleTech Kickstarter. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not a company that already exists, just looking for the seed money to blow out something or other. It's a I don't know if it's a little company, but it's a newer company. They're new to the IP, at least this ownership is. I don't know if they're unrelated to the IP, but they have newly acquired it, and they're doing something cool. They're not. It's not a complete restart, which is a little interesting. Um, it'd be cool to talk to them, honestly. It's not a complete restart, which you would think with a new company and nobody's really messed with it in 5 or 6, 7 years. They would go for like a starter set with All Quiet on the Martian Front, with Brits and whatnot. But no, they're doing Germans and Martians, which, and then on the flip side, you go, oh yeah, that makes sense. You can get World War I miniatures anywhere, right? Um,
Right. Yeah.
and there's some stuff out there that's already available, like on Thingiverse and whatnot for it. And in all actuality, one of the guys who owns it just posted a link to a Dropbox that's got the STLs for one of the big American, like All Quiet on the Martian Front machines, right? So one of the non-historical things, they just posted a link to the whole designs for it. That's a shame,
Yeah.
Chris. I think I'm gonna go for the STL option. Because that way I'll have all those Martians, and if I want to print out just an ass ton of Martians to fight an ass ton of British and Americans and whatnot, not just the Germans, I'll have the STLs for the Germans for like a K-Wagen and stuff also. Um, and that'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. I know we've mentioned that, but um, yeah, the one thing that I'm not sure on is that they said the applicable STLs or something like that, and I'm sure at some point in time in the next couple weeks, because they've still got a couple weeks before the Kickstarter finishes, before it's done. Somebody will ask, what are the 3D models? Because you're right, it's a bit of change. I think it's like $150 or something for all of the STLs that they've got. But I mean, assuming that has some infantry and stuff for the Germans and everything, that's super worth it. Not just the Martians. I still might do it for the
Right.
Martians because you look at STL prices, $10-15 for a good STL. Um, you really only need to hit, again, maybe 10 models, 15 STLs, like for good, pre-supported printable models for that to be, stomachable, right? Um, Especially when it's one of those. I mean, good luck finding the Martians anywhere. Hell, I can
Right.
barely even find tripods and triplanes Martians anywhere, and that's driving me nuts. I would love to get my hands on more of those, but they aren't out there, man, which is killing me. Um, but the nice thing about 3D printing is they're scalable. So I might be able to scale one of those to a tripods and triplanes type scale if it fits with that aesthetic. Um, you're right. The wording is not great. I won't be the one to argue with you on that one, Peter. But on the bright side, they are super accessible on their Facebook page. Like, that's the only reason the STL only option is there, is because on their Facebook page, people were saying, "Hey, you should really think about doing an STL only option," and so then they did, which, good for them. That's a lot more feedback than I've seen a lot of companies get or give. Um, but yeah, I think it'd be cool to have them on here, Chris. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Might have to see if I can reach out to somebody and say, hey, you want
The
to talk
fine
about your
folks
stuff?
over at Abby Normal.
Yeah. I don't have a huge audience, but it's an audience that seems to buy.
Well, yeah, I'm about to say, at their rate, it's an audience that purchases something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh, Peter says he's just tinkering with some narrow gauge railroad log cars right now. Very cool. What scale? That's what I'm interested in. And then he says might start some Zombicide Wild West figs next week. Oh boy, you know the Z word's been said. You know who's going to pop up now?
I don't know. He hasn't been in here very much.
He was there. He was here earlier. No, he might. You know, now that the Z word's been written, he might pop back in. You never know. So, um, HO. Okay, very cool. Very cool. I'm an in scale kind of guy, and I get that from Dad. Uh, we had we had great plans when we were still living in San Antonio, and we had great plans of building a train layout in my bedroom where it was actually going to take up about a third of my bedroom. Um, we even had it framed out, ready to start, you know, building the track lines, and that's when he decided to remarry mom, and then she decided we're moving to Kansas City. So
And then you met
we didn't get
Jay.
what's that?
And then you met Jay.
Yeah.
Wiley.
Well,
Not
actually,
Jay.
I didn't meet Jay until shit like 10 years ago.
Oh, I thought you guys knew him from Lee Summit.
Nope. No.
Oh, it's all, it's all been a
No,
great
because he
fly.
was an independence guy.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, it's and then in '87, winter. I think it was Christmas of '87 is when my brother Jay got his copy of um, shit. I'm drawing a blank. 40K, the first version of 40K, Rogue
Road
Trader.
Trader.
He got the copy of Rogue Trader, the box of RTP-01, and I think it was RTP-02 or 03 was the RTB-01 was the
Just tell
Space
us what they
Marines
are,
box.
Chris. None of us know what the hell any of these
Was
product codes are.
It's the Space Marine box
Okay.
of like 30 of the little fuckers in there,
Okay.
and then RTB-03 was the three rhinos,
Okay.
and then he got just gobs of metal pirates, space pirates, rogue traders, if you will.
I gotcha.
And that's pretty much all she wrote. That, as they say, the rest is history. So, and if anybody is interested, Games Workshop did do a reprint. It's a digital reprint, but a reprint nonetheless of Rogue Trader. And you can buy it. I think you can still buy it from their website for like $65, $70, something like that.
For a digital PDF of a book.
No. It's a physical hard copy book.
Oh, okay.
It's just it's a digital. They used the digital PDF to reprint it. They didn't go back and redo all of the the plates, as it were. They just printed off of. They had an original copy, high resolution, scanned it, and printed it off of that.
Oh, well, whatever. That's fine. Same damn thing.
Yeah, Chris Long says that's when he got his Rogue Trader with Marines and Squats boxes. So yeah, if there's something you don't have to worry about missing out on, you can go back and relive relive the days of yore with when Games Workshop still had, you know, decent prices and uh, a more what's what I'm looking for? Almost an RPG game. Rogue Trader was. So
Well, you gotta fucking kidding me. Sorry.
what?
I think I just accidentally dabbed the end of my brush into uncured fucking super glue. How is that still there? Well, that's ridiculously irritating.
That's a bite in the ass.
Yeah, it's been sitting for like a half hour.
Well,
I guess this is a dry brush now because I just clipped the end off of it.
yep. I have to. I do have one. I do have an issue. I have a full set of the original contrast paints.
Yep.
But for the life of me, I cannot find my basilicum gray.
Did you run out of it?
Nope. I just don't have the bottle for it. I'm wondering if I let Jay borrow it. If I let Jay borrow it, it means I have to go get a new one because it probably got pitched with with all of the damaged stuff. Oh well. Meandering Mike says, "Greetings, everyone. Just got back from the theater."
Look at Mike being all fancy and shit, going to the
All
theater.
right. Peter says, "Acetone."
No, I already cut it off.
Yeah. And Walkabout Games says, "Remember making our own vehicles was so fun." Yeah.
Deodorant tanks.
There you go. What did you go see, Mike? Let us know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Did you see, hell, what was it that Lauren Boebert saw? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
the penis. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Mike, what did you see at the theater? Did you see, like, the Nutcracker Ballet or something like that, or what? Would be, by all means, interesting to know. Interesting to hear.
Inquiring minds want to know.
From we at the land of little to no culture. But yeah, I'm painting. What are you working on right now, Chris? What's your hobby project of the night slash?
I've been working on these guys.
Still
I
plowing
haven't
away
got.
on those union?
Huh?
Still plowing away on those union guys?
Yeah, I haven't gotten real far on them.
All right, keep working on them. Keep painting. They'll.
They'll come together.
I was about to say, the more you paint on them, the more they'll get there. Which sounds dumb. I'm aware, but
I wonder if
you
this
can
is
convince
too.
yourself to just keep applying paint.
Yeah.
It will get better. They will look gooder and gooder and gooder until they look the goodest of all of your ACW Civil War cavalry or ACW Union cavalry, and then you'll have your
Well,
goodest
considering I
ACW
don't.
Union cavalry.
Yeah.
What?
They saw the Marvels. Okay, so it's
Marvels.
movie theater.
What is the Marvels?
It's it is a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie with Captain
Oh,
Marvel
okay, I
and
gotcha. Okay,
all the Marvelettes.
the Marvelettes.
Yeah, apparently all of the Marvels are female characters. I was being denigrated and I shouldn't be.
Oh, I mean, you're good. I didn't know. You could have not said anything about it, and I wouldn't have known.
Okay.
Was it good, Mike? Did you like it, or was it garbage? I am currently painting some I was looking to paint some 15 millimeter Krauts to go along with Jeffrey's 15
Soviets.
millimeter Russian adventures, but I couldn't find any. But what I did run across, Chris, was these 15 millimeter Panzer mech sort of things that I printed out, if you recall,
Yeah.
to play some Battle Suit Alpha, maybe, with Flames of War figures and Flames of War stuff.
There you go.
Um, for some Weird War 2. Weird War 2. War Mutt. What the shit? Where are you?
Right?
Um, but yes,
He eats this shit up.
that could be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to these things. I printed out a while ago. I don't know why I didn't keep working on them and keep painting them, but um, it's nice to be able to paint World War II vehicles and not have to worry about tracks or tires because they're all on legs.
There you go.
Yeah, so the two things I like the least about World War II vehicles turns out aren't trouble because yeah, legs. When your vehicles have legs, you don't have to worry about running on road wheels, man. So that's cool. I got that going for me, I guess, which is nice.
which is nice. Yeah.
Okay. That being said, I always hated how hard it was to get like a good, bright, vibrant layer of like U.S. primer green onto a black undercoat, like a black primer.
Yeah.
Because either you have to like lay it down ridiculously thick to the point where the black barely shows through, or it just looks unbelievably dark. Which I guess isn't the worst thing because they're evil like spider mech looking guys, but they're also still Americans, so America, yeah. But
He said that was quite fun.
it was
But
quite fun. There you go. Good. Nothing worse than one of your buddies going to see something or getting fired up for something and then realizing that it sucks.
yeah.
Kind of like Todd with Chain of Command. No, I'm just kidding. He's not even here. But BRB smoke time. You smoking meat, Peter? Or you having a dart, buddy? Um, but yeah, Nanglai coming in with Mr. and Mrs. Meandering, watching the Marvels.
Excuse me. You gotta love Goose the Flurkin. Yeah, Goose is cool.
Goose the Flurkin. I'm not sure I'm familiar with Goose the Flurkin.
The orange tabby cat from Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay, there you go. I'm still that guy who hasn't seen. I think the only Marvel movies I've seen were the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans.
Yeah, fair enough. Speaking of Flurkins, at the at the winery, the lodge, um, they've moved two cats into the basement to kill mice and other critters. And Eric and I were there and getting set up Friday afternoon, and we started hearing this meowing, and we didn't know that uh, they had done this yet. Um, and we heard this meowing, and we couldn't figure it out. Couldn't figure it out. Well, it's he finally went to the he finally went to um, the door to the basement and opened it up, and out comes this absolutely gigantic unit of a cat. So I go next door to the retail area of the winery and say, yeah, there's a cat here. Is he supposed to be here? Oh yeah. We have him down there in the basement to go after the mice and whatnot.
And
You
he
can
is
either
a
come back in,
chunky boy.
or you can let him roam. We decided we're gonna let him roam. That was one damn fine cat. He didn't jump up and mess with any of the models the entire weekend. He hung out with us. He, if you went to pet on him, he would uh, play with you, but you know, you knew that if he wanted to, he could probably rip your arm off,
Okay,
but he didn't.
so it wasn't as much of a dick as Jay's cat.
No. It was nothing like Jay's cat. Um, he was mellow. He was a cool cat. Um, so yeah, but it was fun. Me being the cat guy I am.
It's fair.
Uh, I like having him there. Like I said, he never jumped up onto the game table. He never messed with any of the miniatures.
That's
He was better
impressive.
behaved.
That's
He, yeah, he was a much better behaved animal. Excuse me. Oh, uh, you know, but yeah, it was good times. Good times. Okay, what am I going
certainly
for
sounds like
now?
it. That's pretty awesome. Jay's cat was a cute little fella, but cat was kind of a dick sometimes.
Well, she's gotten better now that she's been fixed.
Oh, that was the problem. Cat was just running around there raging out with full hormones.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that'll explain part of it.
So, I am up in the air as to whether I'm going to do something in January or not. Um, I probably should make that decision sooner than later.
Oh, for like a CJ3 type thing.
Yeah. Um, if I do it, it'll be the weekend of uh, Martin Luther King Day, um, just because that is a weekend where most most normal people have that Monday off. Um, you know, I won't because that's how it works for me. Um, and you probably wouldn't have that Monday off either.
Animals got to eat, baby.
Yep. Um, but yeah, I'm thinking of doing it. Charles says I'm going to try to build two dioramas featuring some of my old beat up models, one British, one American. These models and figures are the least messed up and broken. Well, there you go.
Nice. Those are usually the ones I go for, also, Charles. You can't blame me, buddy. Least messed up and broken is the story of my life, especially my dating life.
There you go.
Zane got him. Yeah,
Heyo.
that's myself probably, but yeah.
Uh,
All right, let's see
I
here.
am feeling it right now.
We are going for, dude. I got that weird thing where I'm okay, but then as soon as I like take a really deep breath and like fill my chest up, I just start hacking stuff.
Yep.
Not a fan of that.
Welcome to my world.
Not a fan of that.
These guys are not going to be great. Great painters. Only because I'm not a very good painter. So see, 15 millimeter is one of those. It's one of those scales that I have a problem with.
Why is that? For a long time, 15 millimeter was your take on God's own scale.
Well, for if I could do just like single color type stuff. Um,
Single color type. That's not painting. That's priming.
well, what I mean by like for infantry, World War II infantry, American infantry,
Oh, okay. I
where
mean, not that far off for these
everything
guys.
is green.
I gotcha.
Um, I'm doing your least favorite part of the uniform right now.
Boots.
Yep.
I mean, are you gonna base the figures?
Oh yeah.
Then what do
But
you?
they're cavalry, remember? So they got boots up to their knees.
Oh yeah, okay. I was about to say, what the hell are you basing their? What are you doing their boots for then? Like, especially in 15s, man.
And then, what were the scabbards? What color were the scabbards
Black.
for
Those
the
would have been japanned or leather covered. Yeah,
done?
black's an easy fix for
Probably
that.
a brass hilt.
Yeah, like a dirty gold looking thing usually works pretty well.
Dirty whore. What?
Dirty gold. Dirty gold. The one thing that there is not very much of on these Panzermech looking things is like stowage or something to do an accent color of. It's mainly camo and panel lining, I think. What the hell's Captain Marvel, WandaVision, and Ms. Marvel first? I have not seen any of those or their prerequisite movies either, Mike, so I think I'm going to have to take a pass on the Marvels, my dude. As much as it sounds like you enjoyed it, which is good, I will probably have to say, yikes, I can't help
Pass.
you there. Not that there's anything wrong with Marvels. It sounds like you had a good time and it sounds like a good movie. I'm just not the biggest superhero movie kind of guy, I guess. Well, I know, but yeah.
I'm kind of the same way. I'm. I don't. I don't follow. I mean, I like going to watch the movies, but yeah,
I'm kind
to
of
keep their own.
excited for the Napoleon movie coming out on Thanksgiving, but at the same time, I'm like kind of super duper not.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
I think
kind
if
of
anybody
don't.
can,
What's up?
I, I have a feeling that if anybody can do a good rendition of Napoleon, Joaquin Phoenix can.
I mean, maybe. Like, I'm not sure that. Like, Joaquin Phoenix always seemed to me to be like a real Ray Liotta type actor in terms of the stuff he was good at doing. Not
Yeah.
necessarily meaning like he can only play mobsters, but like that kind of gritty character. And Napoleon wasn't necessarily always a gritty character. Like, he
Right.
was kind of a megalomaniacal bitch at times. Not that bitch is the right term, I'm sorry. But, I mean, just,
Well, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I don't know. I don't know that the world needs Joaquin Phoenix and Ridley Scott to be glorifying Napoleon Bonaparte, who people still love tramping out, egalite, liberté, fraternité, and it's like, not really, though. Like, that was a great selling point for him, dubbing himself the Emperor of France. Like,
Right.
not really a whole lot of liberty or, equality or fraternity there, especially not when he got there on a pile of decapitated heads.
Shh. Keep that quiet.
But,
We
yeah.
don't talk about that. We don't talk about Bruno.
Well, I get that, but that's my point. Like, and then ultimately, is the end of the movie just the Duke of Wellington ultimately dunking on him at Waterloo, like, ha 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 ha, and stay gone this time, bitch.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Because, like, yeah, whatever, man. I think Orson Welles did a fantastic job um, as Louis the 16th, I guess. I don't remember, 16th, I think, in the movie Waterloo, just in terms of depicting him as such a dickhead that's the only reason that Bonaparte was able to make a successful return, which I wouldn't say is the only reason Bonaparte was able to make a successful return, but you get my point.
Right.
Like, it took a particular brand of loser to get the French people to be like, yeah, okay, we'll have this guy who ruined our country for a solid 20 years. Yeah, we'll bring him right back because, this guy came in and this guy's kind of a dickhead also. But whatever, man. I don't know. Again, I'm cautiously optimistic. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, we'll have
Seems
to
like
see.
a favorable way to put it. Cautiously optimistic. I hope it's a very good movie. I'll greatly enjoy it if it's a very good movie. If it winds up being somebody just glorifying a bunch of dicks walking around in, blue and, from 1793 to 1815, I'm going to be kind of sad. Hopefully, my main man Horatio will make a passing appearance, putting up two fingers at some point in time to Napoleon standing on the coast of Normandy, surrounded by boats and 250,000 French soldiers, and you just see Nelson rolling by on I don't know, maybe HMS Agamemnon as part of the Channel Fleet, giving him the two-fingered salute, and then
Yeah.
laughing with all 5'6" of him. But yeah, that'd be entertaining.
All right. Here we go. What do you think?
Oh, hang on. Nice. Get after it, man.
Not horrible. Not great, but not horrible. It'll
Honestly, I'd
do its
almost
routine.
suggest just running for a. I've had a lot of really good a lot of really good results with Confederates. Just priming them gray
Yeah.
and then going from there.
Right.
And that's always the thing I run into with contrast bases. Unless I completely bath the thing at least once in a color, I always wind up with like the coming apart at the seams look,
Right.
where
Right.
I've got white in all the crevices, and so it looks like the guy's having like a bit of a Raiders of the Lost Ark moment, which
Yeah.
I don't know. It probably isn't the end of the world, but it bugs the living hell out of me. But yeah, that's my go to for Confederates is, and that's the nice thing is that gray primer is the cheapest primer out there. Um,
Yeah.
and so I get a $2 can of gray primer, or I just prime in one color, then bath the entire thing in a slightly watered down gray. But then it's super not hard to hit just the skin, hair, gun. Honestly, I usually do the skin in two parts because I'm a big fan of the paint inside out thing.
Yeah.
It makes it a hell of a lot easier. So I'll go through and do their faces, which is usually really easy in 15s because if I'm painting, anywhere shy of 50 of them, it takes about a drop of paint to do everybody's face.
Right.
Um, so I'll go through and do the faces, and then I'll hit, uniforms, guns, belts, hair, hats, all that shit. and then I'll
Yeah.
hit hands because I usually find it hard, even on like 28s, to paint hands and then guns. But vice versa is pretty easy. Um, but yeah, I mean that's just me. That's how I like to do it. I know you're a big fan of the contrast paints. The what?
Well, if I can make them work, great. If not, I'll go back to regular, you know, paint style.
I think part of my issue is that I just painted with acrylics for so long that I got used to it, and now it bugs me a little bit when I don't do it because it's yeah. And I've noticed it with one thing that bugs me about my own models is when they don't look the same, right? Or at least they don't have the same kind of aesthetic or style to them.
Right.
So like I find myself going back and painting like I'd do something in contrast paints. It's like, well, that wasn't that bad. I guess I'll go back and finish out this collection with it. It's like, yeah, but I already did most of those with acrylics, the block paint wash to success method. Well, now I kind of want to do the rest of them like that so that they all look the same.
Right.
Yeah, okay, uniformity is a good thing. I should probably do that. And then, I don't know, I find that I can block paint and wash to success quickly enough that it's not a huge, it's not usually, honestly, any real difference between that and contrast paints. And one of the things I hate doing, absolutely hate doing, is going back and repainting chunks of a model. And that's kind of how you have to fix oopses with contrast paint, is to go back and hit it with white again,
Yeah.
and then recontrast it. Which again isn't the end of the world, but it bugs the hell out of me sometimes. Um, but yeah, um, what we got going on here? I know he didn't say he was making a documentary. I know he said he was making a film. I know that, Nanglai. I know. That's what I'm saying. Um, and that's why I'm saying I just hope that it's not doing a silly thing. Like that's the thing with that I ran into with to a certain degree with what was it, Siege of Jadotville. Great movie. Like it was a fantastic action flick, fun, interesting to watch, all that stuff. And then it was like, but wait a minute. The UN sent in Irish troops to destabilize a democracy that was elected by the people of Katanga. Oh yeah. Wait a minute. Were we cheering for the guys who might have been there under dubious circumstances? Yeah, probably. Just because they're white, good-looking Irish guys in, you know, passably British service. They 100% weren't, but that's what everybody that I talked to after the movie thought was going on, was that they were British. Um, it's like, oh yeah, shit. Okay, maybe that felt kind of bad. Again, fun movie to watch, great movie to watch. Luckily, it wasn't, that big of a thing. Um, but yeah, I don't know that I saw Blade Runner 2049. I don't know that I saw Blade Runner 1. So if I did see Blade Runner 2049, I certainly missed 2004 or 2048 of them in between, which makes me feel like a real mope. Um,
I really, I really liked Blade Runner. Both.
that's the one with Wesley Snipes, right?
No, that's Blade. Blade
Oh,
Runner is with Harrison Ford.
ah, my bad. I might not have seen that. Oh yeah,
Rutger
Chris, for
Hauer.
for the for the Congo crisis for Katanga. Well, one of the Congo crises. Oh, that was the other thing that frustrated me about that movie, was that at the start of the movie it made Patrice Lumumba look like just this darling person that was just wrongfully, done so dirty. And it's like, no, not, not so much, not so much. Not saying that he's gotten the whitewash that other leaders have, but yeah. Nice. Where'd you find those, Chris? Those could be really cool to play with just for all kinds of stuff in the Cold War era. Um, those would be really utilitarian STLs, just generic guys with FALs. War Games, did they just put them out? I bought a ton of stuff, I bought a bunch of stuff from them maybe a month ago, and I don't remember seeing those. I feel like I probably would have grabbed them. That's pretty awesome. But they've got some really good stuff over there. I know War Games Atlantic kits we've all got a love-hate relationship with, especially some of their old ones. But their digital stuff, Chris, is pretty slick. They've got a wide variety of things. Some of which is pretty obscure, some of which is pretty awesome. Like they got Neanderthals and whatnot. So at some point we're certainly going to be playing Cavemen from Howard Whitehorse. Or White House, I think.
White House. Yeah.
Same guy who wrote Eat Hitler. Oh, nice. Well, Chris, I'm going to have to go download those. That'll be cool. I saw those. Charles, I think it was that newsreel about the Somme, right? No, I'm
What's
just
that?
kidding. Charles said he's got no idea what the last movie he thought saw in theaters was, so I had to make a joke that it was a newsreel about the Somme. Nah. That's the last one Jeff saw in theaters, but Charles is a spring chicken. But yeah. Let's see here. No problem. The second film, yeah. All right. So here's where we're at right now with these weird mechs. Let me swap my camera around real quick, and I'll pull this up. Boop. So we got two little German weirdy Panzer mechs in the 3 color. Oh, here we go. So you got two German Panzer mechs. This one is blatantly a real World War II aesthetic. It's got a
Very
little
nice.
rear turret face machine gun there. I get to pick that out in a cool color. And then this little fella with 3 cannons on him. And then for the Americans, this little guy, no idea. Looks almost orky. I'm not sure I'm the biggest fan of that turret and gun. But then this guy as well. It's a little more modern looking. It feels like that turret top has big old M1 vibes or something, but that's fine. So again, those would be the mechs for a Battlesuit Alpha game set in World War II using bases of Flames of War figures.
Yeah, very cool. I like it.
The infantry, yeah, and then maybe some tanks or something like that. So it wouldn't be the Gundam style mechs, but it would certainly be still some battlesuit stuff. The nice thing is with how ambiguous these are in scale, other than this guy, you could also use it for anywhere down to like 6 mil if you did want to have it in that substantially larger mech size category.
Yeah.
But they're fun. I mean, there's a bunch. These are all free off of Thingiverse, as far as I know. I think it's this set of legs and this set of legs are pretty simple in terms of mating other turrets to them. So I'm sure that might happen at some point in time here. But Yeah, so there we are, guys. They'll need a wash. They're going to need a wash and then probably re-highlight. But yeah.
Very cool. Oh, and we lost him. Oh, he may pop back on, but we are going to go ahead and wrap up. Uh, I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. Um, like I said, we're not going to have any outro music. We're just going to go dead. There he is. Hey, he's back.
Sorry. Seems like half the time that I go to click my camera off, I accidentally hit the X button. My bad.
That's okay. I was just letting everybody know that we're going to go ahead and wrap up for the night. We're an hour and 50 in. Now I got to go take some medication and then go to bed because I'm feeling it now.
Yeah, it seems like a good idea.
So, guys, thanks for being on and listening to us ramble about just about nothing and everything. So, Peter, Mike, Chris, and Charles, and Telemachus, and um, Jeffy,
Jeffy and
if you're still on
Brian
there.
and Polly.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys. We're going to go ahead and cut it off now. Hopefully, I'll get it figured out why my stuff's not here and we'll be able to, have the standard. But until next time, we will see you on the flip side.